Hello, you guys. Welcome in and welcome back to yet another live. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you've enjoyed your summer. You're probably wondering, girl, where have you been? I've been out traveling and just enjoying summer. It's very short lived here in Canada, so I try to enjoy it as much as I can. But I am back and I know that you guys have a lot of questions. I've seen your comments, I've seen your questions. And I am happy always to answer them. If you are watching live on Instagram, feel free to drop a comment in the comment box and I'll be happy to address it. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment there and I'll be happy to answer it there as well for you. I hope that you guys have been able to make it through all of the content that I posted, and I'm going to, per usual in the lives, just go over some of the major concepts and theories that I think you may need clarification and that you will probably be interested in. So again, I have the receipts, they're on my phone. Let's go over them one by one. Hi, Imran, how are you? Okay, so the first thing I posted is, and this is a lot, you guys, so just bear with me, okay? We're going to go through it nice and slow. Obviously, if you guys have questions, like I said before, feel free to drop them in the comment box. The first thing I had said was, let's see, let's go back, okay? Let's pull up the receipts from way back in the summer. Okay, let's talk about this one. I had said that, are you feeling stuck in the 3D? If so, I get it. You need to understand the difference between sacred time and regular time, right? So I said there's two things, that there's more to just calendars and clocks. There's chronological time, and then there's sacred time. So let's talk about each of these in its own respect, okay? So there's chronological time. Chronological time is what you're seeing here in the 3D. It's what we go by when we look at our calendar. It's what we go by when we look at the clock. It's very linear based, right? It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, right? And it's January, February, March, April. That is chronological time. That's the stuff that we are used to, right? Everybody's used to the calendar system. I'm just going to move this back a little bit. We learned this since we're in elementary school, right? Everybody is used to this, but it's this is where you're getting stuck in your manifestations and where you're getting stuck in your spiritual work, is because you don't really understand the concept of time, which I've talked about before. Usually I talk about things over and over again because people just can't seem to get them, but we're going to go through it again. You need to understand that there is something called sacred time, right? And I've said in the post, these are divine, timeless moments where transformation, insight, and connection to the higher realms happen. This is where this sacred time, this is where you're going to feel at ease. This is where your nervous system is going to relax. This is where you're going to collapse timelines. This is where you're going to make quantum leaps. It's in the sacred time. And it's in the sacred time that it's going to happen, that it will translate into the chronological time, right? That's where you're going to see it in your 3D world, in your 3D reality. So how do you understand that there's this sacred time? The best way that I can explain it to you is that you have to connect to sacred time, okay? It's not going to just appear to you and be like, hey, I'm sacred time, jump in, okay? You've got to clock into the sacred time, if that makes sense. You've got to jump on that bandwidth. So you're going to notice instances. This is how you know that you're tuning into sacred time, right? You'll notice synchronicities, like I've said here. You'll see transformation. You'll see little divine moments. You'll see little instances of connections with source and spirit. And that's how you're going to know that you're on sacred time. And once you're in sacred time, you're going to be able to realize, like, when you stay tuned in and clocked into sacred time, you're going to see things move faster. You're going to see things align for you. And then it's going to translate into chronological time. So let me just see what I've said in the post. So you really need to kind of get into the sacred time. Does that make sense to you guys? Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. So how do you get into sacred time? You need to, like I said, you need to jump into it, right? You need to do the spiritual work. You need to raise your vibrations. You need to become in alignment. You need to develop a sense of self. You need to basically do the work to tap into sacred time, to develop this connection with sacred time. Because like I said, it's just not going to appear to you and be like, hi, I'm sacred time, right? You really need to tune into it and do the work to get to that point where you're able to tap into sacred time. So again, I would pay attention to, obviously you need to pay attention to chronological time, right? Because we're here on earth, we live in a 3D reality, and there's nothing you can do about chronological time. It's the way that the world functions. So obviously you're keeping in mind chronological time, but you also need to pay attention to sacred time, right? And you guys have heard me talk about this so many times on the lives where I've said, pay attention to the moon systems, pay attention to the planetary systems, pay attention to what's going on the earth, right? That's all helping you tune into sacred time, if that makes sense. So again, you do have to be mindful of this other system and this other time construct that's at play in order for things to work cohesively and systematically in your life, and to see these manifestations and to see your work come to fruition here in the 3D realm. Let me know if that makes sense to you guys, okay? I know that's a lot to digest, but again, I want you to really start paying attention to the synchronicities and the timeless moments and the connection to the divine, and that's where you're going to help tap into sacred time. I cannot emphasize that enough, right? You need to stay clocked into that. You need to keep up your spiritual work so that you're constantly reminded and constantly triggered of sacred time, or else you're just going to be stuck in chronological time, and you're going to constantly feel like everything's stuck and nothing's happening and nothing's moving and you're not seeing anything and nothing's changing, and it's going to put your nervous system in disarray. We want a relaxed nervous system. So when you tap into sacred time, that's how you're going to be able to do that. And if you go back to that post, I have some affirmations that you can use that will help you, remind you to be in sacred time. Okay? Perfect. Let's keep moving. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me slow down a little bit for you. Okay, I know we're just jumping back into the lives, so I know a lot of people are not. And this is why the lives I feel are important, because I feel like you guys are going to need someone in your ear. You're going to need sessions, or, someone talking to you and giving you theory that's experience-based and fact-based and lived experiences. And luckily that's me. So I know this is a lot, right? And you guys need to continuously keep hearing this, because again, this is how you're going to stay clocked into sacred time, right? You need someone in your ear that's going to keep you on your spiritual journey and working on it and just listening to it every single day. Because the moment you step out, right, the moment you fall back into this 3D trap is a moment that you lose your connection, right? And I don't want to talk about this, I don't want to go into it, but once you start losing that connection, it's really hard to gain it back, right? It's like you take one step forward and then you take two back. So again, this is why it's important that I come on and do the lives and share these with you, and that I answer your questions, and that if you have any questions, you can ask them, okay? Okay. Hi, welcome in to everybody. Okay, the questions. Okay, the next thing I had said is, okay, there we're back. The next thing I had said is that, what is this post saying? Alignment isn't static. It's a living, breathing rhythm between your inner world and your outer world. You don't just arrive and stay there forever. You grow into it moment by moment. Yes, this is absolutely true. Listen, there is this narrative in the spiritual community that, this goal or this thing that you're striving for is alignment. And once you're in alignment, everything is perfect and you stay there and your life just flows and everything just works out for you. And it's just this place of bliss. But that's really not how it works. Living in alignment is like a living organism. Okay, think of alignment as a living, breathing organism. You have to think of it like that, right? It it's not static. It doesn't just stay here, right? You flow in and out of alignment. That's the thing that people don't understand. Alignment is not static where you're at this one place and you're stuck there. You can fall in and out of alignment. And that's what I was saying in the post, right? That you really need to understand how alignment works. And when I said in the post, when you're out of alignment, everything feels heavier. Your decisions, your relationships, even your own intuition gets cloudy. But when you're aligned, things really flow. You feel guided and you're just in your next step. So I want to kind of elaborate on this some more because I think people are going to get really confused with this concept of moving in and out of alignment. And I've talked about this before where I've said that living in the 3D world is very dense and it's very hard. And obviously there's many situations at play, right? There's your job, there's your family, there's your friends, there's your relationships. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of other things. Maybe it's your kids, but everyday triggers will pull you out of alignment. Everyday things will pull you out of alignment. And that's why I'm saying it's not static, because you're going to fall out of alignment. It's almost inevitable that you're going to fall out of alignment because you're human. So the thing is that you need to understand that you need to go back into alignment. And this is why I always said, if you go back, if you've been in this audience for a while, then you know that I've always said that you need to clean up your environment. You need to make sure that your environment is, and the people that you surround yourself with and where you're living, and you need to look at your entire life and make sure that it's the auric field of everything is very clean and your life is very clean so that you can stay in alignment almost all the time, right? Because if you don't, you're going to be coming in and out. And again, like, let's say you have family members that are toxic, right? And you're living with them. How are you going to keep getting into alignment if you're constantly being pulled back? It's like dead weight. It's like an anchor, right? Just bringing you back down. It's like crabs in a crab bucket. Ain't nobody getting out, right? It's the same thing with alignment. So you've got to make sure that, like, the people around you and your environment and where you live and your job and your kids and your partner, all of these are not triggers that are going to keep pulling you out of alignment, right? So that's why I say that it's flowing and it's not static. So stop thinking that alignment is static and that you've got to get to this place, and once you get there, you're staying there forever, and then nothing, and then that's where you end up being for the rest of your life, is in alignment. Because hi Zoe 138, how are you? Hi Gisa Sempa, how are you? Sorry, I can't say your names, it's going by so fast. But again, this alignment place is not static. It flows in and out, and you really need to understand that concept about how you can shift into alignment and then fall out of it, and then you need to get back into it. And that's why I always say, and I'm going to repeat it again and again with you guys, look at every area of your life and see what's going on, and see, ask yourself, right? Like, have some awareness and ask yourself, is this pulling me out of alignment, right? If your partner is like, I don't know, eating junk food every day, doesn't exercise, and has no ambition, and is just lazy, and like, is that pulling you out of alignment? Is that making you act the same way? Is that, like, it, are you living with family members who are completely toxic and trigger your internal childhood wounds? Like, look at these things, ask yourself these questions, look at every person in your life, every area of your life, and see, like, is this bringing me closer to alignment or pulling me away? And most likely, I'm sorry to say it, but the answer is going to be they're most likely pulling you away, right? That's what the answer is going to be, because you probably haven't done that level of work. You're probably not able, like, sure, I understand that there's other factors at play, right? Like, maybe there's finances at play, or maybe there's like other obligations, right? But again, you probably haven't done that level of work where you're able to clean up your life like that and get rid of stuff and make transitions like that, because most people reach this advanced spiritual state later in life, right? I don't really know any 20-year-olds who are like, yes, I'm at where I want to be and I'm living in alignment. So again, it takes time and it's really hard to do. So, and you really need to have that level of awareness, which I don't know a lot of people who have that level of awareness, who can look at their life like that. And is it nitpicking a little bit at your life? Yeah, but you have to do it, because there's no other way to get to this place without critically analyzing your life like this. Like, there's just no way to do it, right? You essentially, you have no choice. You literally have no choice. I'm telling you that, right? Or else you are going to be stuck and constantly being pulled down and living in this reality, which, is not that great. You've seen everything that's happening here on earth. So again, alignment isn't static. You're going to have to flow in and out of it. So every time you fall out of it, get this through your heads, you guys. You have to learn how to tap back in, and you have to learn how to stay there, okay? So go back and watch what I just said on how you're going to be able to do that, okay? Let me know if that makes sense, if you guys have any questions. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, or the next post that I've made is, what did I say? I said, one second, let me just pull it up, you guys. I said, okay, I went back too far. Blah, blah, blah. I said that we are severed from the sacred, disconnected from source. We've forgotten the sacred rhythm that flows through all things. We've turned away from the divine. This forgetting is the root of our suffering. Yes, absolutely. People have forgotten source. People have forgotten God. People have forgotten the universe. Call it whatever you like. I don't really care. Like I said before, it is whatever it is to you. But it is this forgetting that is the root of our suffering. Haven't you look around you? People are dying every day. People have forgotten source. This is the root of our suffering. This is why we will continue to suffer. This is why nothing changes. This is why history repeats itself, because we have forgotten everything. And this is the root of our suffering. We are not meant to walk this life cut off from source. We are meant to work and live our lives as co-creators, master manifestors with source, right? And it is because that we are disconnected. This is why we always have that longing. We always feel like there's something more. We always feel like we want to reconnect. We always feel like we need to realign. So again, this is your invitation. If you're on this live, if you're watching this, or if you have some sort of spiritual enlightenment, that's your invitation. It is your invitation from source asking you to reconnect, right? And are you going to accept that? Are you going to do the work to reconnect with source, right? It's not enough to just be like, yes, I am. I'm going to reconnect to source. You literally think of it like a relationship, how you build a relationship with a partner, right? It takes work, it takes effort, it takes time, it takes commitment, it takes sacrifice, it takes truth, it takes honesty, it takes grit, it takes resilience, it takes patience, it takes love, it takes, I don't know what else, okay? It's the same thing with building this relationship and this connection with source. You're going to have to do the work. And because source isn't a physical person here in your 3D reality that is going to talk back to you how I'm talking to you, it's 10 times more difficult, right? There's other avenues that you have to use to build this relationship, right? A lot of it is going to take your initiative. A lot of the work is going to be on your behalf. But here is the thing. Here is the thing. When you attempt to make this connection with source, it will always reciprocate back to you. It's not going to leave you hanging, right? You can, let's say, example, in the 3D world, right? You want to pursue a partner, or there's a love interest you have, and you're putting in all this effort to make the relationship work, right? That person could easily say, no, I'm not interested. Sorry, bye. That's not going to happen when you do that with source, okay? They're not going to like shame you. They're not going to like say no to you. They're not going to be like, I don't want a relationship with you. So you're always going to feel reciprocated. You're always going to be, your efforts are always going to be rewarded. Put it like that, okay? So again, you really need to try to develop this relationship and this connection. And you really need to figure out how you can develop this relationship with source, because everyone is disconnected. I'm going to tell you that right now. Walk around. People are getting stabbed on the bus. People are getting assaulted. People are like, everybody is disconnected on some level. We still have wars and it's 2025. We still have mass shootings in 2025. If everybody was in alignment and happy with their lives, and there wouldn't be any of this, right? So again, it's because they are disconnected from source. There is no God. Look at America. Where is it? Right? So again, you really have to learn how to reconnect, and it's this forgetting that is the source of and the root of our suffering. So you need to remember, you need to reawaken, you need to get alive, you need to clock in, you need to figure out what the hell is going on and how you can get out of it. Because if you don't, I've already said to you what's going to happen. Go back, watch all the lives. It's not going to look good for you. Okay? Next, let's go to the next post. Let me just delete the ones that I have said so I don't repeat them. Okay, I know I'm just blowing through these. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions. The next one is, I said, this is a good one, and people don't pay attention to this. I said, there is sacred magic in the water. There is wisdom in the whispering leaves, messages riding on the wind, and there is deep ancient power in the soil. Yeah, that's like all true. All of these elements, I'm giving too much game. I'm giving too much game in this live. This is, okay, let me not talk about that. But you don't understand the elementals. You don't understand the elementals. And I know you don't understand the elementals, because if you understood the elementals, you would be using the elementals. And you don't use the elementals because look at your life, right? You need to understand the elementals. Wind, water, air, fire. You need to understand the elementals. And it's not just understanding the elementals like how I've just listed their names and like, okay, I understand fire. Like, I understand how fire works. I understand the science behind fire. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, you need to understand how the elements work. You need to understand, how can I explain this to you? You need to understand the essence of the elementals, the life force of the elementals. You need to understand how they work. You need to understand how they communicate. You need to understand how you can use them. You need to understand how they can assist you. You need to tune into their frequency and their vibration. Each elemental is different, and they work very differently from each other. You need to learn how to listen to them. You need to learn how to respond to them. You need to learn how to help them. You need to learn like everything. And like, nobody's going to teach you this, right? Because your relationship with the elementals is going to look very different from my relationship with the elementals, right? It's all about in the approach. It's all about the cultivation of the relationship. So again, you really need to study the elementals. And the best way that I could say you can study the elementals is by engaging with the elementals, right? By going, talking to the trees, talking to the water. Like, you've got to learn to listen. And you'll see from my posts, if you go back and look at some of these posts, right, you'll see the images. I'm in like deep nature. Like, I'm in like swampland. I'm in like conservation areas. Like, it's in those like quiet moments that you can really learn to understand the elementals and really listen to what they're trying to tell you. So the elementals are living, breathing forces, right? And they are what I've said here, the divine messages, they're sacred forces, they're living spirits of the earth. But you are just so disconnected that you can't even tap into the frequency of the elementals. You can't even like hear what they're saying to you. There's many times, many, I'll give you a real practical example here in the 3D world. There's many times where it's been like pouring rain outside and like I need to get somewhere like really fast, and it's just like it doesn't look like the storm's gonna let up. And I've literally said to the elementals, like, I need you to make this rain stop so I can get outside in my car and like not get soaked because I look too good. And then the rain has stopped, right? And I've been able to go, and then the rain starts up again. There's so many times where I've been saying like, or I've said to, you know, if I sense that like I'm in a dangerous neighborhood or something, or there's a sketchy person around me, right? You can say to the elementals, send something to help me. Send someone, right? They'll send a crow, they'll send a bird, they'll send a cat, they'll send a dog. All of these things it's not controlling the elementals, right? People think you can control the elementals. And I mean, maybe some people do some alternative roots to control the elementals, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about controlling the elementals like that. I am talking about where you have a relationship with the elementals and they are happy to assist you if need be, right? This isn't knocking on the elementals door every day and being like, I need this, I need this. It doesn't work like that, okay? That you're not going to be knocking on your friend's door every day, bothering them, are you? No. So this is not the same thing where you're going to be doing that to the elementals. It's a very sacred relationship where if you're in dire need of something, they will help you. I can guarantee that they will help you, right? If you have that relationship. So yeah, most of you are not connected to the frequency. You've never felt the trees speak. You've never let the wind carry your messages. The elemental realm is alive. It is ready to guide you. It is waiting for you to talk to them and to assist you and to help you. But you're just too, I don't know. What are you doing every day? Tell me what you're doing every day that you don't have time to go and cultivate this relationship. Tell me, somebody, please. No answer. Okay. So again, most days you let these gifts just pass you by, right? You don't truly see them. You rush through the life. You rush through the elements. You don't take time to even notice them. And like, think about like how that makes the elemental feel, right? You've disregarded them. You've paid no attention to them. You've never said like hi. So it's like, think about how much harder it's going to take you to build a relationship with them. And that's why I keep telling people, like, stop being so ignorant. Stop being so naive when it comes to these things, because everybody needs help and you're going to need help. And let me tell you, nobody in the 3D world is going to help you. So you've got to learn to help yourself, and you've got to use source and the elements, and you've got to use the spiritual realm to help you, because it will help you if you help them. Put it that way. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Okay, we're just blowing through these. I know I'm going fast, but we got things to do. Okay. The next, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I have a lot to get through. So this makes sense why I'm going fast. The next thing I said was the defend. Oh, let's talk about this. There's this narrative, right, in the spiritual community, and you'll see this a lot online, where people are like, the divine feminine is rising. She's rising. She is, you know, she's on the way. She's learning how to tap into the girl. The divine feminine has already risen. We are out here. We are doing the work. We are showing up. I'm talking to you on live. Like, I don't know who you think is still rising. Some of the divine feminines, okay, they're still rising. They're a little late to the game, but most of them have risen. And you will notice who they are, right? They are on lives. They are doing the work. You'll see them on social media. You will know who they are. You will feel it. You will know if someone's a fake. You will know if someone's real. You will know who they are by the essence and what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying. Listen how they communicate. Look at their social media. Look at their lives, right? That's how you're going to know. Look at the messages they're communicating. Look at how they carry themselves. A lot of people like to associate the divine feminine with like very soft attributes, very, red nail polish, red lipstick. No, that's not like what the divine feminine is, right? The divine feminine is an embodiment of an energy. What have I said here? She, like I've said, she communes with nature. She thinks in spirals. Like, it's a very different embodiment. The way the divine feminine operates is very different from a very normal woman that you would encounter every day. And I've said it here in the post, right? I don't want to read you the whole thing, but I said, let's just summarize it. She communes with nature. I already told you that, right? I already told you how I interact with nature. It's the same thing that every divine feminine is doing. We're using the elemental. She thinks in spirals, not in straight lines. We don't think very linear, right? We think very like all over the place, almost like we have ADHD, like we're all over the place, okay? Her intuition is her compass. I've said this before in many lives. Go back if you don't believe me. Everything I do, every decision I make is based on intuition. It's not based on what you would see here in the 3D world, right? The divine feminine uses her intuition to make her decisions. She doesn't almost rely on anything else. Maybe 10% is facts. Maybe, another 10% is, or 5% is like logical thinking, okay? But most of the decision making is based on intuition. And you've heard me say that before. She walks hand in hand with the divine. Like I said, she has a relationship with the divine. She knows how to cultivate that relationship. She honors the sacred cycles. Somebody give me an award, because I've talked about this how many times. She pays attention to the moon cycles. She's aligned with the moon cycle. Her menstrual cycle is aligned with the moon cycle. She honors every cycle, moon, womb, seasons. She leads not from ego, but from the soul. She doesn't care about titles and accolades and climbing the corporate ladder. She's a vessel for transformation. She awakens other people, not because she has the power to awaken them, because of her essence, because of her spirit. She can share with you knowledge, right? She's not looking for something in return. So this divine feminine construct is communicated very inaccurately in the spiritual world, and you really have to understand that it's an embodiment of an essence and an energy and a frequency that a woman is carrying within her. And you will notice when you're around the divine feminine. You will notice that there's something different about this woman. You will probably never stop thinking about her. Okay, so again, pay attention. You don't need to become her. You don't need to, if you're a woman and you're listening to this and you need to think, I need to become the divine feminine, oh my God, you don't need to become her. You just need to remember her. She is you. You just need to remember. You need to activate that frequency within you. There's nothing you really need to do to become her. Everything is within you. Right? So, like, if you're thinking like you've got to go and do something externally and change your appearance, that's why you see a lot of people saying that they change their appearance and they wear like more lighter color clothes or whatever. It's none of that. It's none of that. And that's where the miscommunication lies. It's really, you need to become her and remember her. That's where this is. She's inside of you. Activate her. Bring her to the forefront of your life, of your essence, of your being as a woman. Okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions. Let's go to the next one. I was saying that I paused my legal career. You guys know my story. If you're new here, I went to law school and I wanted to become a lawyer like all my life. And then I decided, hey, guess what? Let's start a business. So I paused my legal path. I've said no to people who've asked me to marry them. I've moved across the border to the US and different countries many times and then moved back. I am not a mother. I never had children yet. I'm in my 40s and my dreams and goals change almost every season. And this is what I want to tell you, and this is what I was saying in the post. I am fine. Like, there's this narrative that you have to follow this path or like this route, and like if you're not doing these things by this timeline or this age, then there's something wrong with you. You will be fine, okay? You will still be aligned. You're still going to be guided. You're just becoming a different person. And I've said this in the post. I said, a lot of people have said, this is a failure. You're a failure. You don't actually practice law. You failed, or you moved back to Canada. You failed. And it's just like, I hear this so often and I'm just like, it's not really a failure. It's a sacred alignment, right? It is what I've said here before. You choose alignment over approval. And once you start doing that, life meets you with grace, right? The universe responds to you with support. And the universe responds to you with bringing you help from other people. And what have I said here? If you're questioning your path, hear this. Okay, yeah. So I want to say this. I said all that to say this. You will be fine. If you don't have kids before 40, you will be fine. And like, and this is, I know this is going to trigger some people, but listen, do I look 40 to you? No. Okay. I go out and I pick up guys, like guys hit on me who are 20 years old. I look like I'm 27. You can energetically stop aging. Your body can stop aging. Okay. And I've said it before, higher consciousness is the fountain of youth. So you can energetically stop aging and your body will stop aging. And guess what? You could be popping out kids at 45, 46, no problem. Am I concerned? No, I'm not concerned at all. And like, you need to learn how to pivot, right? Like, a lot of people, like, I've seen people who've gone through their lives and gone through the life the way that they have been told and the path that they have, you know, planned for themselves. And like, their life sucks. Like, they've got nothing going on. They just sit in their house with their 2, 3 kids, hating their spouse, like cheating on their wives, cheating on their husbands, like going to work every day to their 9 to 5. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I don't want to be doing that shit. I'm sorry. I don't. So again, you need to choose alignment over approval, because approval is not going to get you anywhere. Because when you seek approval from other people, guess what? One day they can change their mind and they're going to want to see another version of you, or they're going to want to see you accomplish something else or do something else. And it's that approval that's going to keep you stuck and rooted and keep you feeling dis-ease in your body, right? When you're in alignment, everything flows. Like I told you, the spirit world is just going to help you. So pick one, approval or alignment. I choose alignment every single day. Bye. Okay. Next post. Let me take a breath. Let me take a breather. Okay, I'm going off on this post about... And if you want to see the posts that I'm talking to, just go back in my Instagram feed. You'll see them. I say you need to start deepening your connection with the divine. It's one thing to pray, meditate, express gratitude, or follow rituals, but deep transformation happens when you move beyond practices and it becomes a living, breathing source of inspiration. That's when the magic starts. Yeah. This is true. Okay, you see this all the time in the spiritual community where they're like, you need to develop your spiritual practices. Are you starting your morning with gratitude? Have you written your gratitude list? Have you drank your cup of tea and matcha? Have you prayed today? Have you lit incense today? Have you done your manifestation work? What? Like, these are just little practices that like can help, what I told you before, get you back into like, you know, tapping into the sacred. But it's when you move beyond that, that's where the magic happens. That's where the transformation happens. So you're probably thinking, Michelle, what do you mean by like move beyond that? What I mean when I say you have to move beyond that is it needs to become a living practice, an embodiment for you. You need to live, breathe, eat this shit. Like, you need to just, this needs to be your life. Like, that's what I mean, right? It's not just a one-day thing where it's like, today I wrote my gratitude journal, back to my work. It's like every day you live like this. That's why I said you need to look at every area of your life and make sure that it's how you want it to be, or else you're going to be constantly pulled out of it. It's an everyday living, breathing relationship. It becomes you. It becomes your lifestyle, right? You've adopted these principles. It's who you are. It's when you move to that stage, that's when things starts to happen. That's when the magic really starts to happen. It's not just like doing your little practices and thinking like that's it and like, you know, that's enough. It's not enough. I'm telling you right now, it's not enough. You have to go deeper. You need to deepen your connection with the divine. And the only way to do that is through work. I'm sorry, there's no other way. I don't think I ever took a shortcut or like thought I would take a shortcut. Like, I just kind of knew that it would always come through work. And I've always said this to you guys, like, the work is really hard if you're trying to do that. So again, you have to try to learn to deepen your connection. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions. Okay, we have we just have 2 more, so that's good. Okay, the next one I said or the next post that I made, I said, it was the birds who sang the news of my success, the water that soothed my pain, the trees whispered my answers, the wind danced at my will. Nature has always been my greatest guide, a silent friend, always present, always listening. Yes, go back in the live. That's exactly what I was saying in the live, right? That it is, nature's going to become your greatest friend, and you need to really, really listen to that and try to figure out, what is she talking about? What does she mean by that? That's where the wisdom is. That's where the magic is. That's where the spiritual world is hiding. I'll give you a tip. That's where the spiritual world is hiding every day. It's in nature. The birds talk, the trees talk, everything talks. They want to talk to you. The elements talk, right? Like, that's where all of this is. And this was true. Is it the birds who sang the news of my success? Yeah, when I was sitting for my law exams, it was the birds who told me, hey, guess what? You passed. I passed. It was the water that soothed my pain and washed it away. Yeah, when I had hip pain, it was the water that healed me. The trees whispered my answer. Yeah, anytime I needed an answer, the trees gave it to me. The wind danced my will. I told you, I made the rain stop in order to go outside and get in my car. And the animals showed me the way when I was lost. Yeah, the birds will guide you, the squirrels, all of them will help you. Okay? So again, it's nature who's going to become your greatest guide. They're always present. They're silent, but they're always listening. So again, you're not alone. If you think that you're alone, you're not. Go outside, go in nature, and you will figure out that you're not. You really need to develop this relationship and connect with them in order for them to help you, like I told you. So again, develop this relationship. It's kind of, I've talked about it earlier in the live. So same thing. Okay, the next post, I think this is the last one. I'm getting a headache now. Spiritual guidance isn't just for the chosen or the deeply awakened. It's for you too. Yeah, okay, so this is true. And I've said in this post, like, there's this narrative, and you'll see a lot of these people, these sophisticated merchants, as they like to talk them, come in the spiritual community and say, like, you need to be like them, you need to buy their course, you need to, like, do their work or do what they say or follow their principles. And it's like, you're not the chosen one, okay? Like, I don't think of myself of, like, I'm a chosen one. I must, like, lead the masses. Like, I don't think like that, right? Like, the spirituality is, and your spiritual awakening is not just for, like, chosen people or the spiritual elite. It's for everybody. Everybody can tune into this. And you, how do I want to explain this to you? You need to stay open. And I'll give you an example from my own life. Like, I never looked for being spiritual. I was born and raised Catholic, and I didn't go seeking out spirituality. It just naturally happened for me, right? But was I open to it? Yes, that was the key. I was open to it. So how was I open to it? Like, there was always, like, little things in my life. Like, and I remember when I was in high school, like, it started probably when I was in high school, right? Like, I would notice certain things, or there would be, like, certain synchronicities, or I had, like, deeper understanding of things, or, like, I just knew something would happen. And did I think anything of it at that time? No, I really didn't think anything of it at that time. Like, nobody in my family had deep spiritual or psychic abilities. Like, I really didn't think anything of it. I just thought, like, that's a really strange coincidence. But other than that, that's all I thought, right? And I just continued my life. But then it was when I became an adult later on that I really started to notice that, like, there's something else here. Like, there's something larger at play. And was I open? Yes, I was open to it. Was I curious? Yeah, I was curious. And did I stay connected to the magic? Yes, I stayed connected to it, right? And, like, people are always saying, well, what about your religion and your, listen, sometimes you gotta switch it up, right? Maybe you're religious. Maybe it's not working for you. If your prayers aren't being answered and your God is not working for you, guess what? Switch it up. Okay? whether that's starting going to a new religion, whether that's calling it something else, whether that's praying to someone else, I don't know, okay? That might look different for you. But your prayers and your life should be answered, and everything you want, you should be getting. So again, did I feel like I wasn't getting what I wanted being a Catholic? No, not really, right? Like I said, it wasn't like that where I was like, Catholic is not, like being Catholic is not working for me. I don't want to do it anymore. I must become spiritual. It wasn't like that. It was just a natural transition for me, right? Do I still identify as Catholic? Yeah, but like, I'm not like, I still identify as spiritual, right? It's very interwoven and blended. So again, you really need to stay open and stay curious and stay connected to the magic. And I've said it in this post, right? I said yes to the unknown. I said yes to the expansion. And I think that's what helped me. I think that was the key. I didn't really show any resistance. I didn't have any resistance. And I think a lot of it because too was like I've had friends who were spiritual. I was already like, into the spiritual community a little bit, but like I was always open to it. I always wanted to learn more. I wasn't very naive. I wasn't very ignorant. I wasn't any of those things. I was like, okay, I'm smart, right? So I'm like always learning. So I wanted to learn more. And I think that was the key that really helped me a shift. So I'm saying that to you too, like this is open to everybody. This is available to everybody. It's not something that's just for the spiritually elite or people who are really smart or people who are advanced. It's open to everybody. It's there for you. It's available for you. Nothing's hidden from you. Everything is readily available for you. You just really need to choose. And you need to say yes, and you need to be committed, and you need to do your due diligence, and you really need to focus, and you need to try to understand, and you need to be ready for that expansion. And you've heard this term, and I like this term that people say, like, welcome to my container, or like spirituality is a container. It's a container. Yes, it's a container, but it is a very deep container. It will expand you in almost every area of your life. When you start to realize how big the expansion really is and how much room there is for growth and how there really is no cap, it will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. And you may think like, okay, it's going to be spirituality, like you will limit it to an area, right? Like maybe you were going to use spirituality in your career, right? Or yeah, let's say your career, but like it's so interwoven into every area of your life. Like it bleeds into every area of your life will need the work to be done. And like I said before, you will think that the work is like no big deal, I could do it in a week. No, it's too much. It's a whole entire reprogramming of your thought system, your belief systems. It's so deep. I can't even tell you, but you will get there. I have faith that you will. Just stay on your path, stay connected. We're back with the lives. So again, you don't have to look at me. You can just run it in the background and listen to what I'm saying. And, just stay connected, stay plugged in, and you will be in a really good position. At the end of this year, we're coming up to fourth quarter. So I think that a lot of people, and this is why I came back on the lives, because I listened to what was being spoken to me, right? To just come back on the lives, start tuning into the audience again, start providing that knowledge and that information, because fourth quarter is just around the corner and then it's a new year. So a lot of people are really going to start to want to change their lives, and a lot of people are really going to start to plug into what is out there other than what they're seeing in the 3D reality. A lot of people want more. A lot of people want help. So it's available for you. Okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions, even after the live. Post them if you're watching on YouTube. Post them in the comment box. If you want to book your high vibrational energy reading, DM me or send me an email to aligntocreate@gmail.com. Everybody needs to book a reading. I will show you what you need to know. I will tell you. I will show you the doors. I will give you the information to you. It is very detailed. There is nothing like this before. My readings are top of the top. They're elite. So book your reading. Join our email list. It's free. There's a link in bio. The newsletter goes out once. I'm thinking once a month, but I might do 2 times a month. We will see. And join the free Sovereign Circle broadcast channel. The Sovereign Circle broadcast channel is really good. There's a lot of predictions. I predicted mass shootings. I predicted wars. I predicted volcanoes, tornadoes. I don't know. Anything you want to know, I've probably predicted there on a global scale. And it's free. And I give details, so obviously that could help you or your loved ones. And what else? If you are interested in a spiritual consultation or private mentoring, the link is in the bio. And I will see you next week Sunday live at 2 p.m. And I love you.